My video for October 30th, 2017 is entitled, "The Shape of Earth is Irrelevant." It is astounding to me how some people get all uptight over perceptions of the planet we live on, whether it's a globe, hollow, or flat. For the flat Earth advocates, it seems as if they are becoming more and more like a religion of zealots. To quote a famous evil woman who wanted to be president, "What difference does it make?" If we cannot listen to one another, how are we supposed to love one another? Yet many don't want to simply discuss different viewpoints. They want to argue over who is right. Sorry, but I choose to refrain from such dialogue since it is irrational. Arguing is absurd. No one wins and each accomplishes nothing worthwhile. Yes, we have been lied to about many things. That's a given. But it's not my job to convince anyone that my way is the only way. To me, if we do not learn how to communicate without disagreeing over meaningless subjects, we may as well throw in the towel because we will never achieve the worthwhile goal of peace and harmony. That can only occur if somehow we are able to actually listen to one another without judgment and hopefully with our hearts open to love. Yes, I've been at the computer for a good while this morning, pondering what to talk about. And this is not a subject that I really want to talk about. But it keeps coming up. People send me messages, and I wouldn't even respond to the most recent message if it wasn't so politely worded. I mean, it was not argumentative. The writer simply did not understand why I'm rejecting the flat earth perspective. And as I've said in other videos, and I didn't even respond, I don't believe, to the question posed to me by this individual, except I'm responding now by making a video about it. But I considered the flat earth thing for a while when it was first presented to me by a good friend who was also considering it, who has also, like me, rejected it. But I know a lot of people that have bought into it, and that's their prerogative. I mean, I'm not gonna go on to their Facebook page or websites or send them emails telling them that they're wrong. I'm just not gonna do that. They have a right to perceive reality to be whatever they choose to perceive it to be. We all do, as long as we don't violate the rights of others for the same perceptions. And therein is the rub, because some people don't want people to have different ideas or different viewpoints. Yet, on a planet of billions of souls, we each have a unique viewpoint because each of us has unique experiences of life. What made me remember that the earth is hollow, and that's my viewpoint, I can't prove it, like I've said in other videos, is the Norwegian man and his son who sailed to the North Pole one summer from Norway. And surprisingly, and this is 100 years ago or something like that, surprisingly, they sailed into the North Pole and entered the inner earth. And they were in there for some period of time. I don't remember the exact amount of time that they were in there, but they ended up sailing all the way through the earth, which had an inner sun or a luminescent ball in the middle of the opening. But there were land, and there was land, rivers, people that were bigger than the people on the surface, and they ended up coming out down by Antarctica. And as I've said, they were shipwrecked, hit an iceberg, and the father was killed. but the son was rescued, and they thought he was insane when he told about his experience. Yet he lived to be in his 80s and never changed his story. That was what he experienced. He was in the inner earth, and they didn't want to, the society, when they rescued him, didn't want to buy that story. And if you don't want to buy it, I don't care. It doesn't change a thing in my life if you don't believe that the earth is hollow and that this experience with the Norwegian father and son actually happened. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are we able to listen to one another enough, not over superfluous things like the shape of the planet, not over which religion is right. They all have elements of truth, as I've said again and again and again, and will say more often in the future, I'm sure. But it matters if we are able to stop the argument, talk about what we perceive, talk about our experience, not beliefs. Beliefs are irrelevant because there's a lie in the middle of every belief. It's something we don't know. I don't know if there's really a God. I'd like to believe there is, but I don't know it. I don't see evidence of it. I do see evidence of malevolence. That's everywhere in the world. I see that. It's an actual perception that I can go and I can look at things that happen in my personal life with friends and family and people that I know personally, and I can also go online and I can see what's presented by others online. I can also, if I want, go to the mainstream media and watch TV or something like that, though I don't do that. But there's lots of options that I can take to find out how other people are perceiving reality. And I chose a long time ago in the area of religion to find the common ground, not the differences, but the common ground. And the common ground is love. If we can't love one another, what is the purpose of even being alive? We'll never learn how to cooperate. We'll never learn how to work together to build something that's beneficial to everybody. We can't do that as long as we're fighting over who's right, and as long as people are making money off of producing war, like the Rothschilds and others of that ilk that are, as I see it anyway, demon possessed. Do I know that they're demon? I don't even know what a demon is. I mean, I know what I believe it is. I know that they're archonic, or there's all sorts of terms in different cultures for that energy, if you will, that dark energy that violates free will. And I consider it evil. But there's lots of things I simply do not know and do not have the capability at this point in my experience of actually proving. And there's the rub. But I do know that when I can get on a level of loving and caring, irrespective of where people are coming from, avoiding the argumentation, there can be positive things built. The friend who first introduced me to the flat earth thing, she and I are still friends. We have not let that come in between us and divide us. I believe she's shifted her perception of that concept herself, as I think I said earlier. But in any case, we can learn to love one another if we choose to. And if we don't choose to, then I'm agreeing with that lady who said, what difference does it make? Because the earth is going to fail yet a fifth time. And we're going to be thrown back into some state of oblivion or starting over, whatever. Anyway, thank you folks for listening, and namaste.